Knows Best.
Hi friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday. Let's catch up. The first thing on my brain is puppy yoga. Last Saturday, me and Carter went to puppy yoga in Dallas, and it was little golden doodles. Oh my gosh. They reached out to me via Instagram. Honestly, this is the best part of being an influencer. Like, not the PR, but like these random odds and ends things that I get asked to go to. They were like, we would love for you and a friend to come. And I kept calling Carter a friend. I'm like, well, they said friend. And I didn't feel like I should clarify boyfriend. And also the ongoing joke in our house now is like boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, and obviously age doesn't matter, but also just the dynamic of our relationship just feels so serious. Like we feel married. Okay. Like that's how we operate. So whenever we have to say like my boyfriend, like Carter viscerally, one of the two has a reaction. He's like, oh, I hate being called your boyfriend. And I said, you can change that. That's on you. However, we go to puppy yoga. We did it Saturday at 9 a.m., the earliest one we could go to. And we walk in, they do a little spiel, we sign the little waiver, and we go in. And they obviously have to fence around like the big open area. But also this yoga studio was like, it had these huge windows in the middle and the sun. We went right to the front, which I didn't know was the front at the beginning. Like it could have been the back or the front, but the window was right there. So I was just laying in the sun. But you guys, these puppies are just running around. And like the girl came over and brought like a little one. They were anywhere from like, I want to maybe say 6 to 12 weeks. So there were some that were younger and some that were older. But right away we sit down. We were there early and they don't start it right away. And she gives me this little baby doodle and I'm like, oh my gosh. And of course, Carter right away, he's like, do you guys plan on doing Frenchers anytime soon? I'm like, babe, appreciate the dogs that are here now. Like he is such a French dad now. But anyways, I'm holding it. And then there were two girls next to me. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be selfish. So I'm like, do you guys want to hold her? So I gave her the dog, right? This girl held her the whole time. And I'm not saying that like, oh my gosh, she held her. Like literally this little puppy did not move the whole time. I'm like, that's incredible. Me and Cutter are getting into the yoga. There are some of the older puppies that are like running around. Oh my gosh, wait, some bimbo brought one of those, you know, those super aesthetic like glass tumbler cups that are like all over just social media. Well, some girl brought that, which like I'm all for drinking out of glass, obviously better than plastic. However, don't bring that into a room immediately. You guys, I'm talking, the class hasn't even started. We just walked in. A dog, they're running around. A dog hits it, glass everywhere. They're trying to pick up the dogs because obviously that's a fucking liability. If a dog steps in glass, starts bleeding, oh my gosh. I'm like, I get it. You probably just like didn't think ahead. But I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, are they going to have to cancel? I thought for sure me and Cutter both were like, they're going to have to cancel. Like, how are they going to pick up this glass? Oh my gosh. But anyways, they said we keep it moving. They cleaned it up. And then we did yoga, which it was like more playing with the puppies. Like they didn't even care if you did yoga at all. I mean, why the fuck would they care? You pay to be there. I didn't, but most people did. And it was incredible. So we got to hold these puppies and play with them. And of course, yeah, Carter asked like multiple times. He's like, okay, let us know if Frenchers are ever here because we will pay all of the money in the world to do yoga with Frenchers. But that was super fun. And then as we were leaving, oh my gosh, it's so fun now that Cutie Carter has money again, which honestly, you guys, not much. He gets paid. He gives me money for rent. He's paying back his parents some money that he borrowed, credit cards, student loans. Like really, he has no money. But I told him because his first paycheck, you guys, all of the money went out the window and then he had none again. I'm like, okay, babe, like you're getting a big paycheck. I know I'm there right there with you. I want to pay off the debt. I want to pay off the student loans. I want to do that. But like also you've been living 3 years of law school with no money. Like hold on to just like a couple $100. That way we can, you know, and honestly, this sounds really selfish, but just like, honestly, it's not. Like, I just want him because he was stressing the last few days of before getting paid again because he's still only gotten paid 2 times up until this point. The end of September and then middle of October. So he'll get paid again next week. However, I'm like, just leave some room because the last few days he was like stressing about money. And I'm like, babe, like you're getting paid, just like give yourself a little bit of room. So he did that with his next paycheck. Not a lot again. However, oh my gosh, if you're watching the video, I'm like, I did my makeup, and honestly, I posted on my stories. If you know, you know, and I don't want to ruin it. So if I have an itch, I just use my hair. Anyways, okay, I don't know why that was relevant to tell you, but after yoga, we ordered Shug's Bagels, which is like a bagel shop here in Dallas. It's local. The guy that started it went to SMU. That does not matter. I don't know how it compares on the grand scale to like New York bagels, but it's good. They have a Shug bagel. It's like hash brown, egg, cheese. Obviously, we do bacon. Is it scallion? Scallion? Bacon scallion. You'll know if you know, and if you don't, you don't. Whatever. That. And they are so delicious. And we haven't had them in so long because last summer, you guys, Carter made money while he did his, oh my gosh. And also I pay for things. Sorry, but I'm just like, I hate spending my money before Carter and before any relationship. Like I myself, when I'm single and living my own life, like I just don't pay to eat out. I just like don't like spending my money, obviously. So like Carter is way more quick to just drop $1 on whatever. Not that it's that fucking expensive, but you know what I mean? Anyways, back in the day when Carter was doing the internship, he got paid last summer. So like on the weekends we would go on a walk and then go get Shugs after. So it was so nice because this whole last, like honestly, you guys, this entire year, and then the summer while he was doing bar prep, like Carter had no money. Like I'm talking absolutely no money. So we weren't buying anything, going out, like enjoying the little things. So it was so nice to go to yoga, and not like you need to spend money to have fun, but like we bobbed over to CVS because we're still caring for Carter's wound. And then we went and got Shug's Bagels, and we just had a day. We ended up going on a walk in the afternoon, and then Saturday night, I don't think we did anything. We never do anything. However, then Sunday rolls around, we went on a morning walk, and I feel like something else happened. No, I think maybe we just hung out. And so that leads me, we went to North Park. Sorry, I had to look down at my notes on my phone. We went to the mall because I've been stressing about the goddamn outfit for the photos. A little bit about Hawaii, but not really. Honestly, in Hawaii, I'll just like run around naked. That doesn't really bother me. I'll just wear a bikini and then call it good. I don't need extra clothes necessarily. But Carter was like, I could go and look at some stuff. So in the middle of the day, we went to North Park Center, which is like the mall here. It's bougie. And we bopped around. I hate shopping with people in general. Friends, boyfriend, like I'm still like a people pleaser at heart. So having people wait on me, like, I hate that. I wanted to go into Aritzia, and we did, and we walked all the way on one side, and then we walked back around, but like I didn't want to stop and look. And Carter's like, babe, I can just go sit down. And I'm like, I just like feel like I'm holding up the line, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted. I was trying to find a skirt, but then you also know, like, if you don't like shopping like me, after a while you're just like, fuck, I'm over this. You get hungry, you get tired, you're walking, you're looking, you're not finding anything. So I'm like, no, babe, let's just like walk around and leave. But Carter, we went into Travis Matthews, which I think is like a golf brand, and Carter got some pants. He always ends up spending money, and then I don't. Like every single time we leave this house, we go to the mall, we go somewhere, he'll spend money on something, not me, because he's still trying to work up his work attire. Like he needs work clothes. He can't wear the same thing again and again and again. And that's kind of where he's at right now because he has no money. So he's gotten a few, like 2 pairs of pants. He really needs a belt, dress shirts, yada, yada, so on, so forth. However, I stole Carter's car yesterday on Wednesday, and I made it my life's goddamn mission to come home with a complete outfit. And I'm not sure about the top. I think I still need to get a top, but I did figure out my outfit for photos, and you guys, it's cute. It is so cute. I'm going to tell you. Okay, so first, what I was looking for is a mini skirt. Like that is what I wanted. I wanted not like a tiny little freaking mini skirt, but just like a cute little denim skirt. Not one of the long ones. I hate looking like a pilgrim. Just like a cute, not modest, but like, you know, whatever skirt. Because somebody pointed out to me, actually a few people commented back on Instagram and were like, Brenna, you have great legs, which thank you so much. It's from all the walking I do. You need to show off the legs. Like, and they're right. And nobody said this, but I am only going to be this young and hot right now. Like I'm the youngest I'm ever going to be. Once we're older, once we have kids, like not that you can't wear a skirt and show your legs. Don't get it fucking twisted. You know me. I'm going to be wearing the goddamn tennis skirt until I die. But you know, like just, we're young and hot. Let's be young and hot. Like, it's only going to be me and Carter and Maydog for so long. So like, be a little cutesy. So I wanted the denim skirt. Well, there is this, it's called like the 90s or the 80s Ricky skirt, RICCI, something like that, at Aritzia that I've seen. And again, all skirts look the same online, but it's like, I have not a huge butt by any means, to be so fucking for real, but I just do have a bigger butt and thighs. Like, I think I wear a size 28 in bottoms. I'm typically a 6. I don't know exactly, but like, that's kind of where I hover around. And so you just never know, because oftentimes the skirt is so tight, but then the waist is too big, or it's just too short. Like, some of them just ride up more easily than others. So I wanted to go and try out that skirt. So I just wanted to go to Aritzia, even if they didn't have the right color, just so I could try it on and then order it online. Well, first I noticed, or somebody either sent me a Target mini skirt that was like cute and fine and fresh. And I saw that it was at a local Target. So I went to okay, you guys, sorry. I just got an email. Oh my gosh. Well, this will hopefully be out by the time that this episode is, if not, surprise, I'm doing a collaboration with Bellessa on an Instagram reel, and they're sending me a toy and I need to film it. But the girl just emailed. She said, hey, checking in here. Hello, which you guys are going to get a free toy. If you sign up, I'm pretty sure, honestly, I need to read the details again. If you sign up your email under their link that I'm going to post, you get a free freaking sex toy. So you're welcome. Honestly, I was like thinking about it. I'm like, well, I don't know why I would turn this down, but also I'm going to hook the girls up with a free toy. Done. Anyways, back to the story. I saw at Target, they didn't have a size 6, or sometimes it's not accurate. Anyways, I go to the Target right beside us and they had a size 4 of this skirt. So I go in, I try it on. I also grabbed, just because I wanted to see, one of the midi skirts, you know, with the slit in the middle. I tried those on. I'm like, I love the look on other people, but for myself, it just was not the vibe. So I tried on the mini skirt, and honestly, you guys, the 4 fit. Maybe I grabbed a 4 and an 8. They just didn't have a goddamn 6, which is what I am. And the 4 was fine, a little bit tight, but I'm like, let me just buy this. I also had to get May's Fresh Pet, and I had to get toilet paper. So I bought it. Then I looked online and there was a 6 at like a different Target. I had Carter's car. I'm like, okay, let me go see. I go to this Target. I try on the 6. It's perfection. It's like a not super dark wash, but medium wash mini skirt. Okay, that's the vibe. And I have been looking on Pinterest, trying to game plan, and I'm really digging the brown accessories. It's a little bit out there. It's not that out there, but for me, just like not being a fashion bitch, but I'm like, if I can find, the main thing. Okay, next. So I got the mini skirt. Check. This is at like 8 a.m., you guys. I'm like, this is perfection. Maybe 9 by the time I went to the second Target. Anywho, then I really wanted to do knee-high shoes. Okay, so I said, next up, if I can find brown, amazing. If it's black, amazing. I didn't care at the time if they were brown or they were black. I just needed them to fit my wide ass calves. Okay, if you are like me, and I don't even think I have that big of calves. I don't know if it's from all the walking I do. I think also, you guys, I wear like a 7.5. Sometimes I'll do an 8 because that seems to fit better. But I typically wear a 7.5, and I'm 5'9", you guys. So I have particular little feet, or just like very little feet. For being 5'9", I think that's like kind of small, just from gathering information from other girls I know. So I think also, like, naturally, if I wore a size 10, I imagine on knee-high boots, the calf is probably bigger on those, like just naturally, you know what I mean? So I'm rocking a tinier shoe. So I think then it just also makes the calf not as wide, if you get what I'm saying. But I just needed to find knee highs. And you guys, I actually used to have black knee-high heeled boots from Forever 21. I'm not shitting you, Forever 21. However, I recently donated them because they were getting tight on my calves. Like, it was like squeezing, and you have to have like the tiny little gap, or like that's what I was looking for. The boots I got don't really have that, but we're going to move past that. Anyways, that's what I was looking for. So next, I looked at the shoes at Target. Then I went I went to Kohl's, you guys, because the Target that I went and got the skirt at, there was a Kohl's attached. I'm like, I have not been in a Kohl's forever. However, Kohl's has some really cute stuff, and they actually had cute Christmas decor. Again, it wasn't on my need list, but I'm like, okay, noted, gonna have to go back there, but they didn't have shoes. Okay, then I go to DSW. I've been into Nordstrom Rack recently a ton and haven't found, because they've kind of been something I've been looking for. I go into DSW, I try on a billion shoes. I'm the only bitch in there. The one good thing about DSW is somebody's not bothering you. Like, I love Macy's and Dillards to find shoes because I feel like they often have sales, and they have like Steve Madden, they have like Dolce Vita, like not super high priced shoes. They have Gianni Beanie. However, I hate fucking having to ask them to go get my size. Like, that's so annoying to me. Whereas at DSW, they're right there. So I tried on a million. None of them were hitting, and I was gonna lose my mind. Gonna lose my goddamn mind. Well, this was at Park Lane. So I shoot across the little interstate to North Park Mall, and I go into Macy's. Yes, Macy's. And I'm looking around, and the people are busy. I see these shoes. I'm like, those could possibly work, but I didn't want to bother the lady. I was not in the mood to fucking take off my shoe and wait for this lady. So I'm like, okay, let's just walk around. Let's go to Zara, Abercrombie. Actually, is that what I was looking for? No, I wanted to go to Dillards and look at more shoes. And I was also looking for a belt. Okay, because I knew if I was going to have black shoes, I wanted a black belt. And if I was going to have brown shoes, I was going to do a brown belt. So I walked around. Dillards is the only store in the mall that doesn't open at 10. They open at 11. So I walked around, go to Dillards. I tried on a few shoes at Dillards. They weren't hitting. I go back to Macy's. I try on the shoes that I had seen, and they're good. They're perfection. I love them. At first I was like, because they're like $80. They're Dolce Vita. I'm like, do I need these? Like, are they perfection? They don't have really a big gap where my calf hits, but I'm like, okay, I think they're cute. I think they'll do. So before I had been at Dillard's, I was looking at the belt, but there were two different brown ones and they were different shades, so I couldn't buy it then. So I get the goddamn shoes at Macy's. I get in my car because that's where I parked. I drive over to Dillard's, which is the same mall, you guys, but it's like the different corners. North Park is a square. One corner is Nordstrom. One is Neiman Marcus, one is Macy's, and one is Dillard's. And Dillard's and Macy's are on the same stretch, but I'm like, I'm not walking again. I'd already put in like 15,000 steps at this point because I went to the gym in the morning. I've been hopping, bopping around. And so I drive over to Dillard's. I bring the bag in because I wanted to look at the belt compared to the shoes, right? And I find a belt that perfectly matches, and that is that. So I have a skirt, I have the belt, I have the boots. So basically, I just need to figure out a top. And I think I want to do like a light cream. I could do brown, but you guys, what the frick does Carter wear? What is Carter going to wear to match my denim skirt in brown? And maybe like a beige top. I have no idea. And also, what's May going to wear? I'm having such a problem with May because she's a girl. Like, I really, she could wear brown, but I'm like, I want it to be girly. But I don't know how it's going to match. Honestly, you guys, I'm not that worried about it because if you know me, I don't really give a shit about stuff like this. Like, I just want cutesy little photos. If we don't match, I don't give a fuck. But because this is my responsibility and I want cute photos, I'm like trying to put effort into it. Okay, I'm trying to be that bitch because I've never been that bitch. Okay. Oh my gosh, wait, last night I was going to ask Carter if he's ever done couples photos with any girlfriends before, but I didn't want to hurt my own feelings, even though I don't think at all from what I know. And maybe he even said that before because I feel like Carter's mom would tell me that because I was talking to her about photos. And it's one of those things, like I made the TikTok the other day talking about going to the Perot Museum and how he had been there before. And I'm like, you've been with a bitch before. It was kind of the same thing, but I stopped myself for the first time in my life. I was like, ooh, do I ask him if he's done this before? Because if he says he has, I'm going to scream. I'm going to fucking scream. So I didn't. I kept my big fat mouth shut like the good little girl I am, but I'm going to ask him tonight. I need to know. Although the answer will be no. I'll report back next week. I don't think he has, obviously. However, you can never be too sure. So that is outfits thus far. Oh, also, while I'm staring at my bed, you guys, I'm dead. something that I want to purchase, I'm sure I've talked about this 100 million fucking times, is a big duvet. We have a king size duvet, but you guys, it doesn't hang over that much. So a purchase I want to make is like an oversized duvet and duvet cover, because I use a soft fuzzy blanket as well, because Carter always pulls. He pulls the bedding, and at first, like, I would wake up and I'm not covered. And I'm like, oh my God. That shit drives me insane. So we got this big old fuzzy blanket from Costco, and I use that. So I like start under the covers, but I also have the fuzzy on top of the comforter. That way I'm covered. Once he snatches them, I have the other blanket on top. Well, the other day, and I've expressed this to him, but like, what's he supposed to do? And he kind of just like laughs it off, whatever. The other day we wake up, okay, and he walks over, because we make the bed together like right away. He walks over to my side and he's like, what's going on here? Because he has to pull the blankets over, because he stole them. Like, he noticed that mine were like, I don't even have any sheets. He's like, what's going on here? I'm like, what's going on here? I have no sheets. This is exactly what I've been telling you. And he's just, oh, I'm like, oh my gosh. I was dead. I'm like, look at what's happening. Look at the bed. What do you think happened? You happened. However, again, first world problems. I just need to buy it. But you guys, duvets and duvet covers are expensive. Like, we're talking, I would drop like over $200. It's like $100 for a duvet. And then also for a duvet cover, I'm just like, ugh, not something I need or want to buy right now. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, okay, I think that's all I have on that. Now, over the weekend, I know what we did. We watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Carter's idea, you guys. It was Carter's idea, because you guys know he was raised Mormon, so he's all about that culture. No, he's not all about it. He knows all about it. So he was just like so intrigued. And you guys, I'm not even telling you, literally 1 second goes by, we started, and it's like them partying and like them doing, he's like, they're not Mormon. And I'm like, babe, that is exactly, he sounded like all of the critiquers I've seen on TikTok, people being like, they're not that Mormon because they drink and they do coffee and da-da-da. And of course, now we watched all 8 episodes. Like, I was explaining it to him. I'm like, they grew up similar to you, okay, where they had these like very, very strict rules, the Mormon church, obviously. And now some of them aren't, some of them still kind of, like, whatever. Obviously he just needed to watch it, which I hadn't even watched it, but I got the idea. I've seen enough clips on TikTok, obviously. So we watched it, and it was reality TV. Like, I just can't, everybody, like, number one, attacking Whitney, which I understand what people are saying, but I also like that girl that was like constantly Demi, like, she's so aggressive. It's just like all fake and toxic. Like, these girls aren't really friends. They're all like juicing it up. I just like don't believe anything I see on reality TV. So I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, I get what's happening there. And it's also, it's like the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Like, these girls should not be friends. Like, if they're all talking behind one another's backs, I'm like, these people should just not be friends. How are you guys mothers? You're married, you're in your 30s, and like, we're talking about this stupid fucking drama. Like, that, I just like failed to believe that it's like real, you know? I also like, the Jen, I think, and her husband, don't know what his name is, the controlling one. Carter was like, he is such a Mormon, because Mormons do heavily believe that like the man is like the dominant one, of like, he controls the mayor, like he is the head honcho. Like, that is like really what they believe. Maybe it's changed now in the modern day, but he's like, that's exactly how they like raised them to be. He was like not excusing his behavior. He's like, that's toxic. Like, he's fucking weird. Like, obviously Carter, you know, not hates the religion, but like, he's obviously not a Mormon anymore. So he's like, yeah, it's just like, it is how he was raised, you know, but like, that shit's wild. But we loved it. It was so good. I think there's a season 2. I'm trying to think. I just watched Love is Blind, and yeah, honestly, kind of a lame season. Like, the only ones I cared about, I skipped through the whole thing. I just went to Garrett and Taylor's wedding, and that was it. And I'm trying to think what else we watched. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh my gosh, really quick before I move on to the books, speaking of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, that's the exact same brand deal. So there was a situation where she got offered money to do a vibrator brand deal, which is like exactly what I'm doing, the same exact company and everything, but it was like a big deal because her mom was like, vibrator. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are we not with the times? Are we not with the motherfucking times? And I actually asked Carter because I literally this week got this email about this brand deal and it's going out tomorrow, which is Friday. So you guys, it'll already be out by now. However, I was like, Carter, honestly, like it doesn't bother me at all. But the only thing is like Carter's mom and all of her friends follow me. And I'm like, do I block them? He's like, babe, who gives a fuck? And I'm like, I love you so much. Because not that I ever thought it would be a big, I was honestly just expressing my own concerns. He was like, babe, like they're not, you know, he's like, number one, and this is again, a conversation that I have all the time. Like, an episode that I want to do soon, because when I do the Ask Me Everything Wednesdays, I get a lot of the same questions, and a common theme is dealing with your partner's family and just in different sort of aspects. And like, this is the thing. Number one, Carter was like, I don't give a fuck. So like, whatever, if they do have an issue with it, that's a them problem. And he's like, I don't think they will. But like the fact that Carter has my back day and day and day and through is like, something that I cannot even put into words how amazing, especially because if you guys know, which I don't really hold on to this at all, but I think it's relevant to say, oh my gosh, wait, can I give you guys a little bit of tea? Oh, something that I hate about posting online is like, I want to tell you guys absolutely everything, but there are some things that I just can't. Like once it's on the internet, it's there forever. However, where I was going was this, is that my ex, obviously the one before Carter, not that we broke up because of the social media, like that was kind of like the final like drop, which there had been like so many other things, you know, up until that point, but there's always like something, like he was so worried about what his family was going to think and his friends. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, because you're a little bitch. However, somebody in his life still follows me on social media. And I didn't even think about this, but 2 weeks ago, I got an Ask Me Anything of somebody asking like what Carter's family thinks about me posting online. And I'm like, they don't give a shit. Nobody gives a shit. Because why would you give a shit? It's me just posting on social media. However, not thinking that my ex like had a problem with, like, that is so long gone out of my brain. You know what I'm saying? However, okay, somebody from my ex's life that I was like close to commented back. It was like, wow, what a wild concept, with like laughing emojis, kind of like shading. And I'm like, you get me. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like until that moment, I was like, oh, that's right. Somebody did have a problem with this. What a loser. Anywho, moving on. Books. You guys, I read The Perfect Son by Frida McFadden. Frida, not my favorite book of hers ever, but like in the middle, like loved it, enjoyed it. It was quick. It was easy. It was great. Now, you guys, I'm reading Local Woman Missing, and like so many people said this is like their favorite book ever. And I'm already loving it. And I haven't even gotten, like, everybody's saying that the twists are insane. I have no idea what's to come, but like the very first start, like the very first, like the prologue is like this woman going on a run, like cheating on her husband. And then the people locked downstairs in the basement. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm already hooked. I'm on page like 130, I think, and there's like 350. So I'm about a third of the way in. Obviously by next week I'll be done. Okay. And then you guys, oh my gosh, product of the week, which like you can't buy this or do this because they're no longer in service. However, I totally forgot, you guys, that I did Smile Direct Club. Well, I don't forget because I wear a retainer every single night. And I know that a lot of people don't do that. Like even when you got braces, if you've gotten braces, like you're supposed to wear your retainer to bed every night because your teeth move. And like literally, you guys, I don't wear my retainer for one night. And like once I put them in again, it's like tight and I hate that. So I wear them every single night. But I'm like, oh my gosh, Carter, can you believe I used Smile Direct Club, who's like no longer in business? And honestly, when I talk about this, people are always like, don't use that. And I understand what you're saying. Like a legit dentist is probably nice, but for those people who have money to just spend, like good for you. But I wasn't trying to spend a fucking coin on getting my teeth fixed. But you guys, I didn't get my teeth fixed until 2020. I was literally 23 years old. I used Smile Direct Club and they straightened my teeth. I used to have fricked up teeth until the age of 23. I was going to say the 23rd. But yeah, but my retainers I put in every single night. And I was showing photos to Carter of me, like, honestly, you guys, that wasn't that long ago. It was only 4 years ago, and not like it was bad. They were just crowded. So honestly, people have always complimented my smile, and I only think they do because I am like an eye smiler. My smile's my whole face. Like, I smile with my eyes. People tell me that all the time. So even when my teeth were crowded, it's not like they were super, super noticeable. I mean, if you were up close to me, obviously you could tell that they like were not straight. But people always said I had a nice smile, but it was just something that didn't bother me for a long time. But then I'm like, why do I have fucking crooked teeth? Like everybody and their moms gets braces as a kid, but like my dad, obviously we just like couldn't afford or didn't want to afford. I don't know. So we never got them. But one of the best purchases of my life, and I wear my retainer to this day every single night. Okay, now let's get in to the topic. Okay, should I stay friends with my ex? No. Okay, episode done. Bye guys. Love you. Have a good week. I'm kidding. However, I do want to talk about so many different versions of this. That is what I want to talk about today. Should you be friends with your ex? Because I always say no, right? However, there is so much nuance and I want to talk about it because I don't think everything's black and white. However, I think most of it is black and white. But again, my Ask Me Anything Wednesday, this is like such a common question and so many different variations. Like, I'm single. Should I be friends with my ex? We just broke up. Should I stay friends with my ex? I'm starting to date this guy, but I'm friends with my ex. Like all of these different things. And I want to talk about it. So let's freaking talk about it. Okay. Number one, let's define ex because there are so many different definitions. And this is what makes it like so nuanced because number one, an ex. Is this somebody that you hooked up with one time? Is this somebody that you were friends with and you guys both got drunk and then you had sex and then you totally forgot about it? Is this a situationship? Is this somebody that you dated for 6 months? Is this somebody you dated for 7 years? There are so many different definitions of ex. And then where I think the confusion comes in is define friends. Because when people ask me questions, they say, can I be friends with my ex? Is a friend somebody to me, a friend, and this is how I always take it when people ask, is like somebody you talk to pretty frequently and somebody that you see. A friend to me is somebody that I like keep up with and see from time to time. This, it depends. Like some people, again, your definition of friends could be somebody that you text every single day, somebody that you Snapchat every day. This could be, for example, and something that I wanted to talk about is like my exes, whether they're my long-term or like hookups or whatever you want to define ex as. Again, it totally depends. I am not friends with any of these people. However, if something were to happen, like let's say my ex, is going through a hard time or like reaches out or just says like, hey, how's it going? Like, number one, what the fuck do you want to ask me? Like, what's going on for? Are you trying to weasel your way back in? But like, if somebody needed something or like had something to say to me or reached out, like I would answer, we're not friends. Or I would probably, depending on the situation, if they said, hey, what's up? No, you know what I mean? But if they were like, hey, I have literal cancer, like I just need somebody to talk to. Of course, like I don't have bad blood with anybody of my exes, like none of them, none. If I saw them in person, I would say hi, but we are not friends. Okay. So if you're coming to me and asking like, Brenna, like, I'm dating a guy, but me and my ex are still friends. But by that, you mean you talk to this person once every 2 years or that you're cordial with them because you work together, whatever. Like that is so different. And that is why you need to define friends. Like, is it okay to be talking to somebody every single day? Okay, while you have a new partner? To me, no. To me, I'm not about that, but I just wanted to make it clear that like, number one, how do you define what a friend is? Because when people ask, I automatically assume like a friend to me is somebody that you talk to often. Okay. And somebody that you see. Okay. And now I want to talk about the scenarios that I get asked about. Number one. Okay. Brenna, we just broke up. Should we stay friends? can we be friends? Like, we literally just sent the breakup text. Okay, hopefully nobody's breaking up via text. Well, I know it's still happening out there. Literally, it's been one day. I'm heartbroken. I want to stay friends. No, you don't. You're being weak right now. You need to go no contact. In some cases, can you be friends with an ex? Sure. And again, this is something that John Deloney talks about, who's like my new idol. He's like, I have girls that I dated in high school. This man's like 40 years old at this point and has children. And again, he doesn't talk to them frequently, but like a catch up, hey, like years down the road, okay, what the fuck ever. Do I think it's a little bit weird and unnecessary? Yes, but like it's no harm, no foul at that point. You know what I'm saying? However, a fresh breakup, the only reason you want to stay friends, or maybe he's trying to convince you to stay friends, is because you want that familiarity. Like, you were not even close to obviously even going through the breakup, and it feels good in the short term. It feels like right after a breakup, you're like, we'll just text and like keep up and like slowly wean off. But it's like, what is that doing? Honestly, it's only making it longer. Like, you feel like because it subsides some of your hurt in the moment that it's like being helpful, but it's like, no, then it's going to get messy. There has never been a time where two people have broken up and they continue to talk in text slowly but surely that it doesn't get messy. I quite literally have never heard of that. And if you're like, yeah, we did. Yeah, what happens is, again, you either you break up, you're talking, and then one of you starts dating, or both of you starts dating, and then you start dating a guy and then you cut them off. And it's like, you never even spent a second being single. I don't think that's healthy, in my opinion. I've been there. I've been that person. I've done that. I don't think it's good. I had a friend recently who went through a breakup. They had been talking and like still kind of hooking up, which is like so bad. And then he out of nowhere was like, hey, I'm seeing somebody. And she was shattered because obviously like you're not over it. You dated this person. The only reason you want to keep continuing like to talk is to feel close, to feel connected. Like, you don't break up and then the next day your completely ties are severed and you're like, I'm fine. Nobody is that way. Not him, not you. So if you were sitting there and you're like, he wants to stay friends. No, he's being weak. Okay, don't let him convince you to stay talking, because it's not good for you and it's also not good for him. Like, you are doing him a service. Go no contact immediately. Okay, as soon as you can. It's the only way to move on. And maybe in a few months you guys can talk, which again, I don't see the fucking purpose, but you can if you want. But you need time right after the breakup to get over it and to heal and to move on. And that is just a fact. I'm sorry, it's my opinion, but it's also a fact. That's that. Okay, then I get a subset, like a group of people that are somewhat, still friends with their ex, whether that, again, and it depends, like, did it linger and like you're still somewhat having feelings there, you're keeping tabs on them, or is this something you dated somebody 5 years ago and then recently you got in touch, so like every once in a while you talk, and you're currently single? Because the reason that I'm saying this is the story that I posted yesterday, or the question that I got asked, was a girl. She's like, I'm dating a guy, but I'm still friends with my ex. Like, what do you think? And I just think, to my core, that is disrespectful. I think out of all of the people that you could be friends with in this world, okay, why an ex? Like, is that friendship so 1 in a million that you have to stay friends with them? No. Like, I'm sorry, no friendship with a man is 1 in a million. Like, that is just true. I could see it with a girl, like the girl to girl woman bond, 1000%. A friendship with a man, there is not a single friendship with a man that is like otherworldly. Okay, you're just in that pattern. Like, you guys, maybe you weaned off, whatever, and you're close, but like, again, and it's similar to friendships. Like, when we go through friendships with other girls, like, it's hard, it sucks, but like, I'm just such a firm believer that we have people for seasons more often than not. Like, I think our friendships change. Like, we date people, you're no longer together. Like, I get it. You obviously liked that person. That's why you dated in the first place, but like, you're no longer with them. And it's similar to like being friends with your ex's family. Like, this is kind of a little different, but a different topic. However, you are friends with them because you dated that person. And I get it. I'm a person who falls in love with every single family member of the people that I date. And it's like harder to let go of them than actually the partner. But it's like, they are just no longer a part of your life and you can still appreciate them. And it doesn't have to be weird. Like, again, it can be cordial. Like, hey, every once in a while, maybe you ask them how they're doing, or maybe they reach out to you. That is fine. Like, I get that. But like, keeping up, this posting on socials, like, I just think, number one, for the respect of your new partner, and then also the other person. And that's another question I would ask you. If you're dating somebody, but you're still friends with an ex, like, if my boyfriend, the guy that you were dating, was still friends with his ex-girlfriend, how would you feel? Because I feel like a lot of us would not be chill. I wouldn't. And I am not ashamed to admit that. If Carter had dated a girl for, I don't care how long, 6 months, 2 years, and they still talk, why? What is the point? It's disrespectful as fuck. Like, it's weird. Like, you hooked up with that person. You were intimate. Like, you shared a lot of moments, which, again, like, I get that and you can appreciate that. But like, that's where it ends. Like, you don't carry that with you. It's weird. And it's weird for your new partner. So I would commonly ask yourself, and if you're a person who, like, you don't care, and again, this is the nuance, like, if me and Carter were like 50 years old, okay, we've been married for 30 years and this was an ex from high school. And again, and this is where what really matters to me is like how you define friends. Are they talking a lot, or is it like once in a blue moon thing? Like, I don't give a fuck if you dated this girl in high school. And I mean, I still don't really see the reason, but like, if we were to run out and like see them somewhere and then we go and get dinner with this like person and like their new partner or whatever, like, okay, I'm not jealous of whoever Carter dated. I'm not jealous of anybody, but there is just like a respect thing. And same, like, Carter, why would I ever, like, if I'm sitting here texting an ex or like maybe even hanging out, like, if you're friends with that person, are you hanging out with your ex? Like, that to me just creates relationship issues for no good reason. And this is a big thing that Carter and I talk about, and how we have eliminated like fights and issues. Number one, Carter not having social media. Sorry, I'm going on another tangent. Like, there are just these things that create tension and friction, and that is one of them. And I don't see the purpose or the reason for it. And again, there are some situations which I will offer you a different perspective. If you went through something like super traumatic, maybe like you guys were in a car wreck, but even still, I'm like, it was a moment in time, I could understand. Or you lost somebody close to you. Let's say you were best friends with somebody and that person passed. Like, if every, so often when you're grieving, you reach out to that person, your ex is like the only person that went through a certain thing, maybe I can understand. And it depends on the dynamic. Or like, maybe your ex, again, had something horrible happen to them and they reached out to you in a time of need. Like, I think, again, there are boundaries, like how often they need you and like what's the reason, because you just never know people's intentions. And here's the other thing I was going to say. If you have a child with your ex, I still believe that you can be cordial without being friends. Like, you guys, this is so, my parents, everybody in my family is like divorced or has had a kid with somebody that they're not with. Like, you can communicate about the kid and about those things without like being friends. My parents were the perfect example of this. They would be so good in public and cordial, but they weren't BFFs because it's fucking weird and it's disrespectful to the new partners. Even if you have a kid together, you don't need to be besties. So like, whatever the thing is, and if you find yourself making an excuse, but like, we have a kid together, it's like, okay, but now you're not together. You know what I'm saying? That's my thoughts on that. And if you are, this is another scenario that people ask, like, I'm single, because people responded to my story yesterday of me saying like, okay, you're dating somebody new, don't be friends with your ex. Like, how would you feel of the inverse, yada, yada, yada. Well, somebody commented back and was like, I'm single and I'm friends with my ex. Like, is that okay? It's okay. Of course, like those, if you are not with another person and you are just single, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can do whatever the fuck you want anytime. But I would just still ask those same questions. Like, what are you getting out of the friendship with your ex that you can't seem to let go of? Like, I don't think it's a genuine friendship. I think it's comfortable. I think this is exactly the same reason why we go back to exes, why oftentimes a lot of us like go back to a person. It's familiar, it's comfortable. You don't have to learn like new behaviors. You know everything about them and you just fall into this thing. So it's easy to be friends with an ex. You know everything about them. You guys obviously were together and spoke every single day. It's like the habit of being with that person. But I don't think if you were to actually take a step back and be like, why am I friends? Like, is this really a friendship that I need? No, I think you're just being a weak bitch and it's comfortable and that's it. Like, again, there are super specific scenarios, but I would just dig deep. And again, I think number one, all in all, I think it prevents you from moving on. Like, I think we just had to let go of these people and keep it moving. And I think it's good for us. And you can have an ex that everything was good and it was an amicable breakup and nothing bad happened. But again, you dated. You fucked. You were really close at one time. Like, that's great. And you can look back on that with great memories, but like, you don't need to be friends. And if once in a blue moon they reach out, okay. But like, that's where I think it should end. And more so, I just think about future partners. And I think it's oftentimes easy because I used to be this way. Like, for me, I could Snapchat boys. Like, let's say I was in a situationship and I would Snapchat other boys. Because like, to me, I knew that I wasn't interested, but it was just like something to do. But if that person, if the guy I was dating was doing that, I would be pissed. And I think a lot of times we do this as girls because we know, like, no offense, men, but it just feels like men are less in control of their actions, even though they are in the exact same control of their actions as we are. Men are like hornier, men are grosser, men are more into like sex and those things. So I feel like when they're Snapchatting a girl, it's different than when we do, which is like maybe so sexist and such a double standard. But like, because I've always been a girl, like I have guy friends and boyfriends have always had problems with my guy friends. They're like, oh, he wants to fuck you. And I'm like, no. I'm like, number one, it would have happened by now. Number two, I've never had sex with them. Like, I feel like us girls have a very good understanding and we put men in their place. I think it's actually 100% true that if your guy friends, like let's say you have a guy friend, if given the chance, they would have dated you or fucked you for sure. Like, I think that without a doubt, but like, that's why we're in control. Like all of my guy friends, I'm like, nope, not happening. So we're platonic. Does that make sense? But that's why I think like it oftentimes I ask you, you know, if your partner were to do the same things that you did. So, okay, you're friends with your ex, you're now dating a guy. So whatever that friend situationship relationship looks like, if it's texting, if it's Snapchatting, if it's seeing them once a month, if your boyfriend were doing that same thing, how would you feel? Just a good way to figure out if you should be doing it or not. And again, just like ask yourself all of these questions, like, what am I getting out of this? Because I guarantee like 98 out of 100% of times, that was not how you say that, but you get what I'm saying. It's just like familiar and we're just doing it and we don't know how to stop it. And again, if you're like, fuck, Brenna, you're right. Like, I'm not getting anything out of this relationship. It's not 1 in a million. Like, I don't need it. It's just comfortable. Like, you don't need to say anything. You can, if you want to be like, hey, I don't think we should be friends. If you want to address it, cool. But like, I think you should just like slowly dissolve into abyss. Like, I don't think there needs to be a hard conversation. And for me, you guys, my college boyfriend and my boyfriend before Carter, both of them, I went no contact the day of like breaking up. Okay. The day after, however you want to say that, I went no contact and that's it. Okay. And my college boyfriend reached out maybe a handful of times in the past, like however many years, just like to say hello. And my last boyfriend, we had broken up for 1.5 years and got back together. So we broke up the first time. I did not say a goddamn motherfucking word. He came back like a month later. We kind of hung out. He was still doing the same bullshit. So I said goodbye. We didn't speak for 1.5 years. We dated again for however long. We broke up, no contact, have not spoken to him since. So like for me, it's just been like a very much like, this is it, because it's not adding anything to my life. And I appreciate those. And they taught me a lot about myself and they were good relationships, but like, why the fuck would I need to be friends with them? Like, I dated them and that was cool and great and dandy, but that's it. Like, out of all of the people in this world that you can be friends with, you don't need to be friends with your ex. And that's just how I feel about it. And I know it's hard, and I know no contact is hard, and I know why we fall back into the patterns because it's comfortable and it's familiar, but it's just like not really doing us any good at all. I don't think it's super detrimental. Like I don't think it can be. Whoa, did I say canned be? It can be very detrimental to some people if like you're actually still in love with this person and just pretending to be fun. That is so bad, and like you need to clock that immediately. But I do think there are a lot of people that like can like live and be single and like be moved past it, but still just like chat with them and keep it casual. But I'm still just like, I think for our overall well-being, it would just be best to cut the ties. You know what I'm saying? Let me check my notes and make sure that there was nothing else that I wanted to add on to that. Oh, in a full-blown relationship, because I was kind of talking about like when you start dating, if you are, and again, it just is circumstantial, but like at this point, Carter and I both like do not communicate obviously with our exes. So like at this point, there would never be a point in our future that I see that happening, because why? However, if you are like years into a relationship, well, I guess like if you are, let's say, in a 2-year relationship and you've been friends with your ex from the beginning, and your partner doesn't have a problem with it, and now you guys are all friends, or however you want to say, whatever, that's fine. Of course, like do whatever makes sense to you. But I don't think a lot of people are probably in that scenario. If you are, like, don't sit here and listen to me and be like, quit being friends. If it's worked for you and it's fine, or vice versa, if like your partner is friends with their ex, or and again, this is what I wanted to say. If it was like, let's say you were friends with a guy, okay, best friends, you were in the same college friend group, you guys got drunk one night, you hooked up, but then you both swore after that you'd never do it again, and you continue friends and like act like it didn't happen. And now you have a boyfriend and you've been dating, and like, you're like, well, that's my ex because you hooked up one time. Like that, to me, I still wouldn't love it, just because I think being intimate with somebody is just like, I wouldn't want to be around somebody probably, and maybe this is just immature and like maybe I need to grow, but like if Carter had hooked up with a girl and I knew about it even one time and they were like still friends, I just wouldn't like that. So it just depends on your thoughts on that. But I could understand that being like, if it was totally, you guys were blackout, you don't even remember it, whatever, and you continue to be friends, you told your boyfriend about it or you didn't, and it's all been good. Okay. You know, I can never understand if you were friends with a situationship, because situationships are the worst. I could understand someone being friends with an ex that they dated for like 3 years over being friends with a situationship, because a situationship is like the worst fucking kind of relationship, and those guys are the fucking worst. So like, hopefully you're just like not friends with those people. But yeah, those are like the different things. So when I am online saying you're not friends with your ex, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I just think the constant communication, and I feel that way in general, about just like guy best friends. Like of course, like my friend Garrett, okay, is he a guy best friend? Like I just would never use that terminology. We talk about like social media and stuff because he's trying to like promote his music. And that's kind of the extent of it. We were really close at one time. We've obviously never gotten together. And I have my friend Andrew. I have like a ton of guy friends that if you wanted to classify them as guy best friends, okay. But like, if I were sitting here texting them every day and like going out to hang out with them without Carter, like I hope that Garrett gets in a relationship and we 4 come together and hang out. Like that to me makes sense. But you guys know I don't really believe in like girl best friends or guy best friends either. And that's just kind of my opinion. And Carter and I both stand firm in this. Like we just really believe in like us, and we are each other's partner. And of course we should have friendships. Like Carter has like some of his girlfriends from law school, like that he, you know, when they all took the bar exam and got their results, like everybody was texting each other. And like, again, but it's not like they're sitting here talking about, oh, what did you eat for lunch? Oh, what's going on? Like that's fucking weird as we're in like a full blown relationship as like full blown fucking adults. You know what I mean? So when you see me online talking about like girl best friends or guy best friends or being friends with your ex, for the overall, like those are just my thoughts on that. I just truly believe in respecting your partner and like not crossing any boundaries. And I feel like, and this is honestly a conversation that Carter and I had on our 3rd day when we did the cards. I know I don't shut the fuck up about it, but we even talked about like having young girl assistants and like things like that. Not like, I could see how somebody would be like, why the fuck were you talking about that? But we talked about affairs, and like oftentimes it happens in the workplace. And Carter's like, I would never have like a young girl assistant. And not like, Carter, you guys, is like the last person on this planet who would ever cheat. Like, he is just, I've told you this. Remember when I told you guys about the fishing incident and his dad getting heated and him getting heated? Carter is like so about right and wrong, like so aggressively. Like, Carter believes in moral right and moral wrong and like cheating. Oh, you guys, speaking of, when we watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, like Carter could not get over like the divorce and like these young people with kids. He was like so heartbroken over, he's like, it's just so sad. Oh my gosh, wait. Also, he went to work and he told this girl, one of the LAAs, about it, and that he watched it, and he was like, it's so sad that like all of these couples are divorced with like kids. And he's like, you know, that's what happens kind of when you get married young, because that's the thing, all of these freaking people on Mormon Wives, Secret Lives, got married at like 18, you know. And the girl was like, well, I got married at 19. And he was like, oh fuck. He's like, I didn't mean to dog on her. And he wasn't. But you know, when like you say something and then somebody's like, well, I did that, I'm like, oh damn. That happens to me all the time. But anyways, like that's just like Carter and who he is like, Carter is just like very traditional and believes in the family unit and all of that. But anyways, okay, where the fuck am I going with this? I was just talking about how putting yourselves in positions not to not cheat, but again, to like have respect. For example, my friend's dad is like a very successful businessman. Okay, sorry, it's getting to the end of the episode, so I can't speak. And he, to this day, he's like in his 50s. If he were to have a meeting, I think I've talked about this before, with a woman CEO or whatever, if it were a woman, he would always bring another male colleague with him. Like, he, to this day, still, and this guy is like, mega, I mean, billionaire. Okay. He has done a lot of business. In any situation where he would be one-on-one with a girl, he would bring a male colleague or somebody, because he just never wanted to be in a position where, number one, it could even just look bad. Like cheating, again, it's not that. It's like to have people speculate. It's like protecting your family unit and your vows to your wife. And like they have the happiest, best marriage ever. And that's what, like, I think these things, like being friends with the ex, like the girl best friend, it's like, yeah, whatever. It can be super harmless, but it's also like, what do I need to do to make Carter secure in our relationship? And also the same, but like, just be respectful. And that's what I believe in. And I'm just going to leave it there. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and got some more clarity, because I do get this question a lot. And again, do whatever you want. And like, if your situation is super specific, or you're like, Brenna, I'm going to be best friends, like we're both healed, we're both moved on, amazing. I'm just, as always, giving my opinions. And I hope you guys just enjoy hearing my thoughts and like thinking about things a little differently. You know, everything that I say is not Bible, it's not fact. Okay, these are all my opinions, and I'm just doing my best to give you my information and knowledge and continue like with Carter, because I do think, again, I think we have a great relationship. And you guys, I am not kidding. Thus far, a year and a half in, like there has never once been a doubt in my mind about infidelity, about dishonesty, about, and I think a lot of these things I'm talking about, like not having super close girl best friends and being friends with the ex, like this all plays a part in that. And like me and Carter both equally. Carter told me this, and I think I said this on a podcast earlier. He's like, Brenna, I love that. Like when I'm at work, I don't have to think about you. And he's like, I think about you, but not in a way, like a lot of our relationships. And I think this just has to be with like, you know, being younger, is like worrying. And we're always like, oh, because you saw that he liked to post on Instagram, so you're creeping on the girl. Then it just like builds this insecurity and like this mistrust, even if they didn't do something outright bad, but like there's all of these things that you're thinking about, and you're anxious during the day and just like thinking about your partner and like that they're making good decisions and whatever. Like me and Carter both have never had that. He's like, I don't worry about you. Like I know that you're in this 100%, I'm in this 100%, and like I don't have to think about it. Like your relationship should be your safe space, and this is how it should be. Like you shouldn't be worrying about this, that, and the other while in a relationship. Like your relationship should make you stronger and better and happier and healthier. And then you can take on life in the world, because there are so many things out there to be worrying about other than like your boyfriend having a relationship or friendship with his ex-girlfriend. Like, what the fuck? Like, why would you do that? Why would you create internal like relationship issues if you don't need to? That's kind of what it comes down to, you know? So those are my thoughts. I'm gonna shut the frick up. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye guys.